Alright, welcome back. This is another Druid breakdown, this time on the Shadow My Shadow event. This was not my best event, specifically of this one. I've done a lot better before, but this was the first time I had a recording that didn't look awful. So it's gonna be good enough. I start the event with 2 AEs loaded, and still 3 singles loaded. It doesn't really matter. To start the event, I'm only going to be really casting 3 dots and then 1 or 2 AEs and 1 or 2 regular nukes when they spawn in sets of 3. I don't even get a chance to really effectively multi-dot all 3 because we kill them too quickly. I'm also not burning here. We did epics at the start and I got auspice, but we're going to burn when the Seed of Hatred goes active, and you'll see why. This was also not my best burn, but it was good enough. I forgot to distant configuration before the event starts. I know, it's a sin, but I hit it there, so it's close enough. I will say, actually, yeah, I'll go ahead and address this here. Something I did not do right, but it worked out okay, is starting the event with the wolf chain. So you're supposed to start the event with single wolf, and then whatever, assuming your group burns when I do, which is when the seed spawns, which is when you should burn, you hit group wolf, and then whenever, great wolf comes back, you hit it. The issue is there's not a 4-minute timer between when you start the event and when the seed goes active. I think it's usually like 2-ish minutes, so usually I try to hit wolf before we start so that it's ticking down, so that when the seed spawns, there's only 3 minutes left remaining, and I can go ahead and run into group wolf. I explained that poorly, but essentially I try to hit single wolf before the event starts and time it properly so that the wolf chain is set up correctly, because I think what's going to happen here, although we'll see later, is when group wolf ends, I've got some time where solo wolf has not back yet. And that's alright. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't hugely matter, but it is worth noting. I'd rather my group have their best wolf than me have my best wolf, especially because my group has a wizard, an enchanter, and a mage. There's always a decent chunk of trying to find which mob is actually here in camp, and then dotting it early enough that you can get damage off, but not too early that it summons or whatever. There's a mistake there. Busy talking shit in guild, but I shouldn't have let that Winters land. It consumed a Conjure Synergy and a Gift of Hazy Thoughts. This would have been a really big haste Boiling Wrath tick if I'd let it tick, but that happens. I'm not going full tryhard every night, and this night we had a full raid, so I was just kind of going for, good enough. I go ahead and use my bifold there. I guess there's not a particularly good reason for it or not for it. I just expect it to be back, and it will. I think this is I got 8 minutes still, so we got time. I am still weaving the AA nukes here. Like I said in another video, I have them all multi-bound to 1, and I'm finally using them, but I'm still watching my mana because on this event, and Prisoners of Hexbin in particular, my mana can go down pretty quickly. Alright. We've got one more wave here, so I don't do anything crazy yet, but then when this wave ends, I'm going to change around my spell set, because we have a second until the seed goes live. I also have to try to find the one that's going to live the longest to Boiling Wrath, because some of these ones die really quickly if the melee are focused on it, or, MA-centric players. So, alright, so here, I'm at the point where I've got enough dots on, nothing more could really do huge damage, so I swap in Bear to try and get more mana, and then when Bear's done, I'm going to swap in an AE. This is something I've started doing that, depending on how your guild does it, I can't necessarily recommend. I load quad AEs, so I've got I forget the names, but Heliacal Conflagration and Heliacal Immolation, as well as Twilight Chill and Forlorn Chill. So the LS and the TOL, Fire, and Cold Nukes, they all are on their own timers. And I pick the 4 spells that matter the least to replace them with. So that's Winters and Roar that I'm replacing with 2 nukes, and then the other 2 are my Flex Gem, which I don't need anymore because, well, not always need, because aura lasts an hour, and a single target heal because there's not a lot of single target damage on this event. I still keep remote because there are some niche situations where remote is useful where the other nukes are not. Seeds here, we're going to burn, and it's going to die really fast. The goal is just to get like the right balance of, okay, so I got Twin Cast, Wolf's on, all burns are up, I got Glyph going. I could Glyph before I NBW, but I just never do. I don't know why. I think it's the fact that this is one hit at the start doesn't immediately tick means that I'd rather hit this a little later as opposed to hitting it at the start and then waiting the full 2 seconds for your NBW cast. It basically means I sacrifice 2 seconds of the Glyph for an extra, like at the cost of not focusing 1 DD of Boiling Wrath. And I think it's worth it because in those 2 seconds, there's a decent chance that I'm going to get an extra tick out of all of my dots at the end of the burn. So that may not be optimal, but it's what I do. So then here, I go dots, dots. I hit the rest of my burns. Chromatic Haze comes on. That's what the big noise is. I hit my BP. It doesn't really matter yet, but it will. I cast Chill, even though this mob's going to die pretty quickly. It doesn't matter. And then I avoid nuking because I still have that 1 charge left, so I'm still waiting. I can cast dots on ads now. And this is the part where it's all about to cascade very quickly. I go Boiling Wrath, Force Rejuve, throw Boiling Wrath on a different mob. I've also hit Improved Twin Cast now since regular Twin Cast faded. And I've got my BP on, which actually won't matter quite yet, but will when I do my first AE. I throw a Vortex of Row here, which is just handy because your nukes don't have fantastic resists, so you want more of them on if possible. So, yeah, first hit of the AE brings my chess piece down from like 21 uses all the way down to 8. Or is that 9? That's 8. We've got group tanking, we've got chaos, we've got lag. I hit an AE, I'm probably gonna die. I Boiling Wrath the wrong mob. I hit the one at 60 instead of one of the ones at 90 because the lag time it takes to switch targets here is just awful. I don't really have a set script when I'm using 4 AEs on when I should dot versus when I should AE. So it's kind of just, if I can, I will for any of them. Especially right now, I think there's about 15 ads on the AEs, so I'm getting maybe up to 30 hits on the AEs. They're definitely worth it, but then the longer the fight goes, the less worth both dots and AE nukes are, because generally if there's a lot of mobs at low percent, I'm going to want to AE nuke. If there's a few mobs at higher percent, I'm going to want to dot, but they tend to just kind of die sporadically and erratically because everyone's just kind of doing their own thing DPS wise. And like here, like I can't even get a single nuke to land. We just melee kills them too quickly. Well, melee and single target DPS. It's instantaneous DPS rather. And now we wait, because this event is so smartly designed. We wait for the hate bearers, and there's no point in me going out there, so I just watch as my IOG, my quick time, all my burns fade. It's a little sad, but that was a pretty good burn. I'll look after. I think I did like 7 million on that burn. I do load back. I load back to 2 AEs, and I load back these 2 nukes. I don't really know if the 2 regular nukes are necessary, or the 2 A nukes, excuse me, because I don't know specifically if we're going to be killing or kiting. And then I just kind of spam Boiling Wrath and wait for the boss to unlock. The downside of hitting Twin Cast where I did is that I'm only going to get to hit it once this event, probably. But the good thing about hitting the bifold when I did is that I will get it in twice. I would heal off, but I noticed that since there's only one source of damage right now, and it flipped to him and then it flipped back to silent, that Loft's not actually going to take damage. I intentionally hit Roar there so that my Conjure synergy can eat my Boiling Wrath instead, and then I fire off the Fire Nuke because it's no longer a threat. So here I see, there's what I was talking about earlier, I've got 20 seconds left on Group Wolf because when the burn went active, I clicked off my Solo Wolf and hit Group Wolf because I'd rather have 4 minutes of Group Wolf than 1 minute of Great Wolf or whatever. But now I've come down to, I've got 20 seconds left on that, but 56 seconds left before I can recast Solo Wolf. That's something I should have done at the start by starting my Wolf chain before the event went live. I just forgot to tonight, so. I don't have a particular reason for why I hit the AE nuke there. I guess I just wasn't really paying attention to hitting Winters instead. I should have hit Sunscald here first, but I don't. I did afterwards though. I do still get it, I hope, in time for the tick. Not quite sure. Might have lost a tick, that's okay. It's never about playing perfectly, it's always about playing consistently. I mean, you'll have better nights and you'll have worse nights, but I just, as long as I never bomb a night, I never play awful, that's fine by me. So what we're doing in the event is we're just having the tanks and healers kite the ads so we don't have to kill them, and so they don't do their effects on the boss. It doesn't really affect us. You saw the same story there with ducking out of Winters to cast Roar because I don't want Winters to eat my Conjurer's energy. Okay, so I lied earlier. Twincast was back up, and I waited to hit it until I saw that Chill was ticking off. So right as Chill feeds into Frost, I get the Twincasted Frost. I'm about to recast Twincasted Chill, and of course I'll load up on all my regular dots. So I guess I was smarter than I thought I was. That you can't use that command right now is me spamming either Row, Wrath, or the AA nukes. Season's Wrath, that is not Wrath of the Wild. Just because I'm bored and want to try and be optimal. All my nukes and global spell cooldown, my clickies are down, all my burns are down. I hit intensity there because Bard Epic and Fierce Eye faded. Usually Lizard staggers Bard Fierce Eye and Epic, doesn't really matter, but he didn't on this event because of how it's structured, where you've got so much going on and it's so little going on. So I figured intensity would be a good time to hit here because then on the rest of the events for the night he'll be staggering it. The reason it's important when staggering is because intensity by itself will get you basically to crit cap, and if you stagger the Bard Epic and Fierce Eye, there's less of a point to hitting intensity because you always have some form of crit rate going. Maybe a bit intensive background music, but this is just an excellent track off the Mirror's Edge soundtrack. That'll finish, and then I'll be slightly embarrassed to show you my actual parse because all of the melee do so good. I can't even succeed. It hurts. So yeah, that was the event. Here's the parse. I think I was 12th or 13th on this one. I won't dox anyone else's information, but let me check my. Let me check my brain DPS. Yeah, whatever. I can dox them. So it's 5th. So it's doing. That's not that bad. 6.9 for 94 seconds. I've had some 8 million burns before. The quad AEs are pretty nice. What's really nice is if you can get enough burst DPS to spawn all the ads, but then not enough sustained DPS to kill all the ads, so you can just be reaping in rewards for those AE nukes. But yeah, again, nothing crazy here. The quad AEs are an interesting strategy that I would not always recommend, but if you're in a guild that has the luxury to spawn and kill lots of ads without like hugely worrying about it, I would recommend it. Multi-dotting is still going to be amazing for sustained multi-target damage, especially if you've only got 2 or 3. But if you've got 20 ads and they're only going to live for a couple of dot ticks, you'd rather hit for some like massive individual hits. So I mean, if you go to my DPS log here, my highest hits were obviously the Chromatic Haze ones, but then all of these are AEs. I can get some good dot ticks in, but you have to stack those up more slowly, whereas this is just an instantaneous cast. I will note that there's now a 30 target limit on these, on all AEs in the game pretty much, but this, well, I mean, we only had like 14 targets, so we don't have that problem yet. So yeah, I think that'll do it. Thank y'all, and if y'all have any questions, of course, let me know. Thanks.